Right, so here I am, guys, in the electrical room, and basically there was heavy rainfall sometime in the past when we initially moved in, and hey guys, welcome to AsherGad channel, making Africa home again, one family at a time. Welcome again to our channel. Trust you're all doing well wherever you are in the four corners of this earth, making gradual plans to make your dreams become a reality here on this lovely continent that is Africa. All right, so here we are again. Today I want to bring to you 5 building finishing tips, okay? 5 building finishing tips here in Ghana, and probably really applicable in other areas of the world also, right? So what are these 5 building finishing tips that I want to discuss today? All right, so the first one is that we're going to go through is number 1, the importance of window sealing. Okay, the importance of window sealing, number 1. Number 2, test all your water appliances. Okay, test all your water appliances, ideally if you can before your sealing works are done. If you're doing POP, before the POP works is done, test all your water appliances, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Number 3, plant replacement. Okay, I'll tell you exactly what plant replacement is and the reason why you need to consider this very well. Plant replacement. All right. Number 4. Somebody has asked me how our gas cylinder connects to our cooker. So I'm gonna run you through that particular connection and the gas connection that you need to use and the one that you must avoid at all cost. Okay. Number 5, we're gonna talk about electrical safety when it comes to the RCCB requirement for the Ghana Earthing TT system. Okay, so these are the 5 building finishing tips that I want to go through today with you guys. All right, so without any further ado, let's get straight into it, taking one at a time. The first one we're going to start with is number 1, the importance of window sealing. Okay, window sealing. Now, as you can see, all the windows in our house are the sliding types. Okay, they're all the sliding types, and once they're installed, look very nice, but you need to seal around it. Okay, seal around the edges, seal around the corners. If not, you'll experience some rain in your home. When it's raining outside, it's going to rain in your home as well, even if you have the windows closed. Okay, now we have experienced that. And it wasn't nice. Not on all our windows. We have quite a few windows. We have about 35 windows. There was only about 3 that were not sealed correctly the first time round. So we had to go back and seal them again. Okay. Now, the most common material used here in Ghana that I've seen is silicone. I'll just turn my camera around and show you what it looks like. All right. Okay, guys. This is the common sort of silicone that I see a lot of window artisans use in Ghana. General purpose silicone sealant. That's what they use to seal the windows. Now, the importance of the sealing here is that it is not just one application, okay? Because one application is not enough, okay? They must do one application all around the edges of the windows, the corners, and leave it for a week or 2 and come back and do another application as well, because it doesn't always fully seal 100% on the first application. So I would suggest 2 applications, 1 or 2 weeks apart. Okay, that's the best thing to do in my recommendation. Now, talking about the need to seal the windows and the importance of sealing the windows. Obviously, that is self-explanatory, but I'm going to share with you something that happened to me, and really what I can say is all praises to the Most High, because it could have been a very, very, very different outcome. Right, so here I am, guys, in the electrical room, and basically there was heavy rainfall sometime in the past when we initially moved in, and this particular window was one of the 3 out of the 35 windows that was not sealed properly. So came in here one day and really heavy rainfall. As soon as I got in here, boy, there was about half an inch or so of water. Had a small mini swimming pool, if you like, a small mini swimming pool on the floor of my electrical room. Okay, about half an inch of water on that floor. And I just give all the praise and glory to the Most High, because if these electrical items are not all on the wall, if this automatic voltage regulator, which is the key thing here, if this was not on wheels, okay, you can see that it's on wheels, probably about 2 inches high at least, yeah. If this AVR was not on wheels and it was directly on the floor, and some of that water accidentally made contact with a live electrical component, okay, or even a cable that was, a bit scratched, and there was water connection live with any electrical contact or piece of copper, then guess what would have happened? That could have been very dangerous indeed. A severe electrical shock, or God forbid, you're going to meet your ancestors. Okay, so this is obviously an extreme safety case, but that is another example of why it is very important to make sure that your windows are sealed effectively. So guys, building finishing tip what number are we on now? Number 2, test all your water appliances. Okay, test and test again all your water appliances, ideally before your final sealing finish is done. Okay, test all your water appliances. Now, this is to ensure that you have no leaks in the house, you have no leaks in the pipework, and also it's also to ensure that any automatic pumps that you have are working properly. Okay, because I've found some issues with these automatic pumps. Sometimes they're not working properly, and that could also be because you've got leaks in your service lines or in your water lines. So this is another important reason why you should test your water appliances. Okay, now I did a previous video about common water supply problems. Okay, and if you haven't watched that video, please click in the top right hand corner or left hand corner to watch that video of common water supply problems. Okay, but let's go into a bit more about what happened to us. Okay, so some of you may recall, who are long-standing subscribers, may recall that we had some leaks on the roof of our living room. Okay, you can probably just see it behind me. Yeah, we had some leaks. Okay, and initially we thought it was a tile work, and there was a lot of stagnant water on the tile work, so the tile work wasn't done properly. We had to redo it, which was necessary, but after a couple of weeks of that being redone, it seemed to have solved the problem. But then a few days later, after running the shower up on the first floor, the leak started to appear again on the ceiling. Very frustrating. After spending that money making all those corrections, the leak appeared again. So it was really bad, really bad. And what we had to do, obviously, we went to a second inspection, and we noticed that the walls, the actual tiles on the walls were wet. They were always wet, even though the shower wasn't used for like weeks and weeks. You go and then the actual tiles on the wall are wet. That's when you realize that actually the source of the problem looks like it's behind the wall. Lo and behold, that was exactly that. Okay. Basically, I'm showing you some images. We had to break the tiles behind the shower piping connections, the shower PPR piping connections. We have to break the wall. I'm sharing it on your screen right now. And after breaking the wall and inspecting, that's when we realized that is where the leak was coming from. Okay, basically the plumber did not weld the PPR pipes properly. Okay, the plumber did not weld the PPR pipes properly. What I mean by welding is that the plastic green pipes at the junctions where, if you like, the horizontal pipe turns up, wherever it turns, there's a connection, there's a coupler, wherever there's a connection, they weld. And that they have a particular type of machine that sort of welds, it kind of melts the plastic, okay, until they kind of fuse together. And that process is called welding. And basically what happens is that the original plumber did not do a good job on that. And therefore the water was leaking. It was leaking right into our living room ceiling. If you haven't seen that before, you know, just look at the video on the top right or left hand corner. You can see what I mean. It was leaking, and it was one of these sort of slow leaks. You'd use a shower, and then you won't see the leak for at least 2 weeks, and then it will ruin your whole ceiling. And you know, as somebody said in the comments some time ago, it actually happened. You know, I'm sharing some pictures on your screen. In the video, you know, the POP began to go moldy, all sorts of marks on it, and really bad. We even had to break the center part of it because it began to get a bit weak. So you can see that the picture on your screen, there's a hole in the ceiling. That's what happened, and it was really, really bad. But the good thing is, once we spotted the problem and we removed the pipes, re-welded them, tested it, and this time we took our time. We waited for about 8 solid weeks. We tested the shower, tested the base, tested every water appliance in that shower and even the one next door to make sure there was no leak. And after about 8 to 10 weeks, we are finally at the point where it's completely dry. There are no leaks. And what you can see up here really is, let me just turn my camera around. Guys, so what you're seeing here is we are in the process of repairing our POP. So the guys came last week to do the first fix, repair, and they're gonna come again in the course of this week to do the final polishing, and then we'll repaint and everything will be back to what it is as brand spanking new. So material cost for us more. The only good thing is that, you know, I've given this guy so much work that he was able to give me a good deal, right? But really a big lesson there, and that's why I'm sharing it. Test all your water appliances, ideally, if you can, before your final ceiling finishes go on. Okay, you may not have bought your shower by then, but you can test it. You can test the pipe connection. They normally put connections where you can see the water flowing out. Get the water flowing from the appliances for a few, half an hour each, and just leave it. And if you get any water leakage on the concrete ceiling, then you know you've got an issue before you do your final ceiling. So that was pretty annoying, but I'm just still, glory to the Most High. I'm happy that we found the source of the problem and that now it's completely dry and we know exactly what we're doing to fix it. And that's that resolved. Building finishing tip number 3. Plant replacement. Okay, what do I mean by plant replacement? Okay, when you are designing your building, when you're constructing your building, you have to consider plant replacement. And what that means is, whatever equipment is going into your house, you have to be able to remove that equipment without having to, reconstruct your house, without having to break walls or break ceilings just to take a piece of equipment out. So whatever is able to go through the door, make sure it can come out in the same manner. Okay, sometimes it can get missed. Okay, now I'm going to show you an example. I'm standing right here by our large water tanks. Let me just turn the other way. Okay, and you can see these large water tanks as you know them. Okay, now we had to clean the first one. Yes, as I was saying, we had to clean the first one. The first tank, we have to clean it because that's the first one that comes directly from the borehole, right? The water in the first tank comes directly from the ground, and you have to clean it every now and again, maybe every 6 months, because obviously all the let's say the dirt or the crap in the ground all comes into that tank, so it needs to be cleaned. Now, what happened was that it was a total nightmare because that roof was constructed. Yeah, the roof that's above that tank. Let me just show you. See if I can step back and show you. Yes, that roof there. Okay, that roof there that was constructed above that tank, all along here, was really constructed without the thinking about the future of, if we need to remove this tank, how are we going to do it? Okay, so that's where it kind of fell apart. Okay, we were able to do it in the end, but it was an almighty struggle, an absolute almighty struggle. Again, with this pole in the way as well, we had to maneuver this tank before we could get this tank out, and it was a total nightmare. This roof really should have been much higher. Yeah, should have really been much higher to make it easier. And I guess the construction of this whole area, if the plant replacement strategy was thought about better when it was being constructed, then we could have a better plan to say, okay, if we want to move the big tank, how do we do it? And therefore be able to facilitate that better. I'm just showing you the pictures and the videos of the day we're doing that cleaning. We got it out in the end. Stephen and Solomon did a great job. They are our new plumbers, excellent plumbers, and I did a video of them. If you need a plumber, I definitely recommend them. If you haven't watched that video, click on here somewhere to watch our local Artisan series where I interview Stephen and Solomon. All right, so that's plant replacement. Consider how you are going to get especially your large items of equipment out of your house after you get them in. I guess that even applies to any piece of furniture that's coming into your house. I know of a friend who went to buy, this was in UK, he went to buy a large piece of equipment, and he forgot to measure the opening clay width of his door. So he bought this large piece of equipment and he couldn't actually even get into the house in the first place. Okay, so that is quite important to consider. Items that can get in through your door and how they actually get out, how they actually maneuver out of your house without having to, break anything, or nice, easy plant replacement strategy. Okay, so building finishing tip number 4, the gas connection. Now, some guy, I can't remember his name, he's been asking this over and over and over again, and I finally got round to it. So let's just share the screen today. It's a bit of a hot day, as you can see from my face. It is absolutely boiling today, which is good. We're in the Hamatan season, but you wouldn't know it. It's absolutely boiling. So let's have a look at the gas connection. Right, so here we have, guys, we've got our gas connection. Okay, and what we used our plumber Stephen and Solomon to do this, second plumbers, and what you have is you've got this normal sort of PPR plumbing type pipe. PPR pipe, very, very good for hot and cold water, but also used for gas. So PPR pipe was run down into the ground, okay, and it's all under this pavement blocking. We obviously installed it before we did the land filling works, before we did the pavement. All that was installed in here, and then obviously pipes up in here, and then go straight into the back of the cooker. Okay, now earlier on I referred to welding. This is what I was meaning. So this pipe here and that pipe here are separate. This joint here is what we call a U joint or a T joint, right? And that is welded. In other words, the plastic is melted onto the pipe. Okay, and that is that's what I mean by welding. And that is what was not done correctly with the shower, hence the water leak. So make sure that it's all welded properly, so you don't want any gas leaks, even more dangerous. All right, so and that goes to the back of the cooker. I'll show you the back of the cooker in a moment, but let's get back to the connection on the gas cylinder. So from the PPR pipe, then you just have one of these flexible pipes, okay, which then goes onto the gas connector. Okay, now there's a story behind this as well. Long-lasting subscribers will know what I'm about to say. This is the correct domestic connector to the gas cylinder. Let me just go around the other side. Okay, I'll just zoom in a bit. There you go. This is the correct domestic connector. This gives you the correct gas pressure into your cooker. Okay, now the reason why I'm talking about this is initially our first plumber, okay, recommended this gas cooker connector, this one here, and this is an industrial grade gas cooker connection, gas cylinder connector. Now I repeat, do not use this in your home. Okay, do not use this type of connector to your gas cylinder in your home. This does not reduce the pressure enough. When we used it initially and we turned on the cooker in our kitchen, there was gas everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So do not use this. The correct domestic cylinder gas connector is this one. All right? Before we move on to building tip number 5, let's just go for a quick break and we'll be right back. Are you looking to build your dream home in Ghana? Or are you building already? Would you benefit from regular site visits to monitor your building and receive regular progress reports? Well, if that's the case, and that's you, look no further. AsherGad Consultancy at your service. We offer the following services: electrical design, construction monitoring inspections, site progress reports, consultation for all items MEP, witnessing of testing and commissioning, periodic snagging, vetting of specialist subcontractors. We also report site activities to you to hopefully help you spend your money efficiently and much, much more. Get in contact for your building needs. Details on the screen. AsherGad Consultancy, making Africa home again, one family at a time. So here we are, guys, just behind the gas cooker for the person who asked. So I'll just zoom in here and you will see that this is the connection. That's the connection on the other side of the wall. Okay, hopefully it zooms in correctly. So that's where the PPR pipe comes out. Okay, then you simply connect the same type of red flexible cable, okay, which is this one here, to that with a normal easy crocodile clip, okay, and then that just then goes straight onto the gas inlet connector on your cooker. Very, very, very simple. Okay, so that's it. Now what you can do is, when you are building the home, okay, you can discuss with your mason foreman to drill the hole into where the cooker will be in advance, or you can lay the PPR pipe from your agreed cylinder position to your cooker position in advance. Okay, in our case that was forgotten about, so the hole had to be drilled later on. It's not a big deal, but obviously if you can do it in advance, then it's just easier, really. All right, so hope that helps. Let's move on to building finishing tip number 5. Here we are, guys. So this is building finishing tip number 5. Okay, this is also very important, if not maybe the most important, but they're all important in their own ways. Okay, so building finishing tip number 5. Okay, the Ghana electrical system, the earthing system, I will not go too much technical, but the earthing system is what we call a TT system. Okay, and that TT system requires, according to the regulations, same in the UK, and it requires the installation of what we call an RCCB on the incomer of the supply. You can see right above my head, okay? So the RCCB is that smaller device, which is just here, right to the side of the meter. That's my ECG prepaid meter, okay? And the smaller device to the side of it is what we call the RCCB, okay? Which is in full means residual current circuit breaker, okay? What is its purpose? Okay, the purpose of an RCCB breaker is to protect you and your household, humans and pets alike, from the dangers of electric shock. Okay, it is to protect you from electric shock. Okay, and it's an absolute must. Okay, definitely recommend you put one on the incomer. Sometimes people have them in the distribution boards themselves. There are smaller types that can go in there, but the issue with the ones that are in the distribution board is that a lot of times they can nuisance trip. Okay, you can be ironing and the power will just trip out. You can get a lot of nuisance tripping, which is quite annoying to deal with when you're in the house. So the best thing is to get the bigger one on the main incomer, and then you should be okay. Let's just turn the camera around and zoom in to see what it actually looks like. Right, so those are my cables, my 4 cables, come a high level. They go into this lovely white trunking. Around here, they go into the RCCB, which also serves, because it has circuit protection, it also protects your meter, which is your asset, okay? But let's just zoom in here, and then you can see, right, so here we go. This is the RCCB, okay? Now you can see the rating is 100 amp for the size, for my size of house, 100 amp. The sensitivity is 100 milliamps, okay? And it's a three phase and neutral device, because I've got 3 phases coming into my home, hence the 415 volts, okay? So that's what you should typically see if you're gonna get an RCCB yourself. Now, there are some clients' homes that I've gone to and they don't have this, which is very dangerous. Think about the scenario I talked about with the first building finishing point, the window sealing. Now, if the pool of water that was in my electrical room when we first moved in, if there was contact with a live electrical part, okay, this device here would have saved my life or saved me from a serious electrocution, okay, because as soon as the water would have touched any live electrical component, if anything live was on the floor touching the water, this device would trip and I'll be fine. This is how important this device is. Very, very important, guys. Do not do your electrical installation without this incoming RCCB. Now, obviously, we go around a number of clients' homes. There are some clients' homes where the 100 milliamp sensitivity does not work. It trips so much. As soon as you install it, it just trips. So in some homes, we install a 300 milliamp RCCB. The ideal number is 100 milliamp, okay, sensitivity-wise. But this largely depends on the types of electrical equipment you have in your home. Different types of equipment, different manufacturers, they leak current to the earth, okay? And the more current is leaked to the earth, the more nuisance tripping you can get with this incoming device, okay? And what you don't want to do is you're ironing and then all of a sudden the whole power goes off in your house, okay? So what I would say is the minimum should be 100 milliamp sensitivity. 100 MA, as you can see, that's the minimum sensitivity. That's the second line I'm talking about. Yeah, below the 100 amp, that sensitivity, that's the minimum 100 milliamp. That's the ideal figure. But obviously, if it nuisance trips on you, depending on what's in your home, then you can go the next size up, which would be a 200 or 300 milliamps. Okay, but start with 100, and let's hope that works okay for you. All right, so guys, just to recap. What have we learned today? Okay, the 5 building finishing tips. Number 1, the importance of window sealing. Okay, the importance of window sealing. Seal them, wait another 2 weeks, seal them again. Make sure they're all nice and watertight. Okay, number 2, test all water appliances. The shower, the toilet, the basin. Test all water appliances, ideally, if you can. Ideally, before your final finished sealing is put in place, okay? That's number 2. Number 3, plant replacement. The importance of plant replacement. Consider everything that's going into your home and how you're going to get it out if you need to repair or maintain it, yeah? And can you get it out without damaging your walls, without having to break walls or tear things apart, okay? Are the ceilings high enough? Is the roof high enough? Etc., etc. Plant replacement, okay? Number 4, the gas connection, okay, from the cylinder outside to your cooker inside. Lay the pipe during the construction, just as the plumbing pipes are laid in the foundation. Lay the pipe also for your gas cylinders if you can, okay? Not a big deal if you forget, but if you can do it then. So like I said, not a big deal if you forget, but if you can lay it in that foundational stage, and then that's great. And the last one, number 5, was the importance of electrical safety, okay? You must, it is a must in the electrical regulations of the TT Earth system, which is what you have here in Ghana for domestic premises anyway. You must have an RCCB on the incomer to your home, okay? You must have an RCCB, ideally 100 milliamp sensitivity, but you can go to 200 milliamp as well, depending on the appliances that you have installed in your home. You want to be safe, but you also don't want it to nuisance trip. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that, guys. As usual, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button so you always be aware when AsherGad upload a new video for your education and viewing pleasure. All right, from Gad, it is Kemesia, and for me is guys Yebeshia. See you next time.